Respect for our home, this earth, these trees, this ocean, the air we breathe. It's changing. The climate is changing. All we can see, all we can touch, is being destroyed, neglected, disrespected. I can't see it. I can't touch it.
See this? This is Canada. This is my home, your home, and a million other people's home. And all the way up here, that's the Arctic. Yeah, the Arctic.
And all the way down here, that's the Antarctic.
Well, these places are really far right now, but we're really only separated by water. And pretty soon, all the ice that's up there and all the ice that's down there, it's gonna melt. Well, they are melting. But one day soon, it's all gonna come down. It's gonna come rushing down and wipe us all out. Maybe not me. Maybe my children, or my children's children, or my children's children's children, or maybe just this map.
The legacy of what we individually have a responsibility to the earth, and if there's not a balance with us and the earth, there's an imbalance, hence climate change and extremities of temperatures and whatnot.
It feels to me that it's my community that's screwing things up. I live in the city. I've always been a city person, and I watch people disrespect the space and the area.
There's not a lot of young people that do take action. There's not a lot of young people that care, and I'm trying to turn the tide on that.
Why would you want to wish death upon a generation to come?
I am sick and tired of all you SOVs. 2 million of you single occupancy vehicles drive alone in the lower mainland every day. This damage is creating serious climate change. What, people stink? You can't sit next to them? You don't like the people you work with? When you drive alone, you're changing the climate. Whether you think about it or not. It's cheaper, it's smarter. Don't be an SOV.
I wonder if tree planters plant in rows, if there'll come a time when the wonderful disarray of tangled forests will be so tidy we'll have to walk in straight lines. It gets me wondering about my own mind, how I try to think in straight lines and get all tangled up, never finding the courage to just clear cut the whole thing. Who will travel through my mind when it makes no sense, and there's nothing left as green fades to gray, and the importance of straight lines is lost in the loss?
Canada produces the second highest per capita greenhouse gas emissions in the world. Private automobiles alone produce nearly 20% of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions. Reduce your use, reduce your impact.
Last week, me and my grandfather went fishing. We caught 3 fish. Thought we did pretty good. Then my grandfather proceeded to tell me about when he was young. He shared the same experience with his grandfather, except for they caught 20 fish. He also thought they did pretty good. Then his grandfather told him about when he was a child. And there was so many fish, he would walk into the water and they would rub against his legs. What's happening to all the fish? Some of the fishermen think they are swimming deeper to find cooler water because it is warming up. Last week, me and my grandfather went fishing. We caught 3 fish. Thought we did pretty good. Then my grandfather proceeded to tell me about when he was young. He shared the same experience with his grandfather, except for they caught 20 fish. He also thought they did pretty good. Then his grandfather told him about when he was young. There's actually so many fish in the sea that they'd rub up against his legs. What's happening to all the fish? Some of the fishermen think they are swimming deeper to find cooler water because it is warming up.
If you place a live frog in a pot of boiling water, it will immediately remove itself. If you place a live frog in a pot of lukewarm water and bring it to a boil, the frog will obliviously allow itself to boil to death.
Every year, thousands of corporations neglect their moral duty to protect our environment. Did you know that 80% of the devastation leading to climate change is the result of industry? Have you been affected by global climate change? If so, then you're the victim. We believe in finding you a just settlement. And remember, we don't get paid until you do. Oh, and don't forget, if global climate change hasn't affected you by now, it will.
It's important to be conscious of climate change.
It's important to be conscious of energy efficiency.
It's important to be conscious of our consumption.
It's important to be conscious of consumerism. It's important to be conscious of the elements we take for granted.
Remember the day about a year ago when we had all those weather changes?
Oh yeah, I remember that day. I was waiting for the bus. When I got on, it was cloudy, and then a block later there was thunder and lightning, and then it started to rain.
After that it was hailing and snowing, and then all of a sudden the sun came back out.
Yeah, it was like the end of the world or something.